What's going on, guys? Alright, so we are on phase 2, week 2, day 2. So, um, you need Granny Smith apple. Love these, that tartness. Gotta love it. So, feeling good. Feeling really good. Got some nice sore shoulders and sore triceps, which you should be feeling after that workout yesterday. That workout is awesome. Actually, like I said, my second favorite workout. Tomorrow I would say is my first. So I almost want to say that phase 2 for me I think is the one I enjoy the most because it always breaks me down every single time. One thing I don't know if I mentioned or not, let me put this down. Um, I mentioned the new creatine I was taking. I was done with the creature. That's actually supposed to be Creapure, which is a German grade creatine. Now I'm trying something from Pro Labs called it's just a regular creatine monohydrate. The ingredients, where are the ingredients here? I believe it's just regular monohydrate. So this is it. So you know what I've noticed, and I think I've mentioned this in the last video. The texture on this guy is a little bit different. Most monohydrates I've taken are very flour or powder-like, kind of like waxy maize. That stuff is actually very sand-like, very crystal-like. Crystal-like, it's not a word. Very crystal. Has the you see little crystals, basically just like salt or sugar. It's a little harder to dilute. I've noticed it doesn't mix as well with the recovery drink as the regular waxy maize or flour style texture powders. But you know, first couple of days of trying it, so just give it a little bit more time before I knock it too much. Feeling good though, feeling really good. One thing that I will say, hungry. I've been trying to pay attention to my physique more. It's not because I'm conceited. I'm not. I'm really not. Really. I'm really not. People will tell you otherwise, but I'm not. It's basically, I've been paying attention to my physique more, and I'm wondering whether or not the changes are as good as I experienced in round 4. And you know, it's hard to compare because I can't say it's an apples to apples comparison. You know, I went from no carbs, well, not no carbs, but very little to no carbs at the very end of round 3. Got shredded, got cut. That's when you guys saw those photos. And then I went to round 5, or I'm sorry, round 4. And round 4 is when I started throwing in carbs and eating tons. You know, I bumped up the calories. I went from a deficit to the maintenance, and from maintenance right away into a surplus. And so I filled in really quickly. I gained weight really quickly. You know, I looked like I kind of gained some mass really quickly. And that's probably just the carb load. But, you know, it's hard to compare to that round. So I'm trying to take this round on its own, as its own individual thing altogether without really comparing it. I will say, though, that I'm kind of wondering whether or not I'm getting the nutrition 100% as I need it to be. And so, you know, I can measure out, you know, a cup of rice pretty well, or, you know, a cup of pasta or whatever. The thing that is really becoming more and more difficult to measure is the protein intake. And so what I've traditionally been doing is kind of like, you know, kind of averaging out the weights of them and kind of, you know, cutting them up in pieces, you know, because chicken breast sizes can vary. To be honest with you, I've gone from like going to the grocery store and picking up like a chicken breast that's like this. And then, you know, I've gone to like bulk cooking stores where like the chicken breasts are like look like a freaking turkey breast, probably even bigger. So, you know, and some of that's probably the crazy amount of sugars and hormones and all that stuff. So that's a totally separate topic we'll talk about later. But so one thing I did want to invest in is a scale, a food scale. Whatever it is that you're trying to measure with your scale, whatever you use it for. I decided to pick up a scale. And so I started kind of shopping around, and you know, they all do the basic thing that all of them really do. As long as they could tear or zero out, whatever you want to call it, that's all you really need. Because in the end of the day, all you're doing is putting food in there, and then, you know, measuring it and then throwing it in a container. Or if you're like me, you'll probably put the container on there, then zero or tear the measurement, and then just add to that. And so I just recently went and purchased one, and basically I purchased the most inexpensive one, and then maybe later on I'll compare it to one that's a little bit pricier. But I mean, this thing does a job, so I don't know why I would need to buy another one. I compared it. Basically, this is what it's from The Biggest Loser. It's the most inexpensive one I could find. It's really like $20. Had a coupon, so it ended up being less than that. Sweet. So where's it at? Here we go. Basically, it looks like this. So it's pretty easy. I mean, what's a good way I can show you guys? All right, this is the way I'll show you guys. So it's on, turns on, whatever. And so you say, all right, so I'm gonna measure something, and that weighs 1 ounce or 0.1 ounce, nothing. But you can have the tare button here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Tare it, and it zeroes it back out. So basically, the weight is still there, but it's zeroing out the weight, so it doesn't account for it. And then we have our Apple, 5.8. Interesting. I've got that number before. But anyways, and it also has the option of changing the units if you want or whatever. So one thing, you know, that I'm kind of trying to be conscious of is making sure that I'm getting, you know, 6 to 8 ounces of protein per meal or whatnot when it comes to, you know, chicken breast, probably, because the protein isn't stable throughout. But anyways, that's a totally different situation. But I noticed I put some food once I got it out of the packaging and all that good stuff. I've got some food out of it, and I noticed that where I, you know, one container, randomly chosen container, no reason to choose it over any of the other ones. I noticed that the container was actually about 5.8 ounces. That's why I laughed, because it's the same exact measurement. But it's about 5.8 ounces of chicken breast. You know, I would even round that to 6. So, you know, if I'm shooting for 8 ounces of protein, I'm already down, you know, 2 ounces. So this will help me kind of get back on track on really trying to get a good, decent chunk of protein on every real meal. And so that's kind of the goal. So we're going to kind of really, since this is still the beginning of phase 2, kind of what I would say, I'm going to try to just see if adding, you know, the 8 ounces of protein in the meals, really measuring that down is really going to make a big difference. You know, I've always been somebody who says, hey, I'm getting tied down. We're going to cut that one. And I've always been one of those people that always says, hey, the food is the most important part of the program, because it really will affect your results in the best way or in the most negative way. So this will just help me get more dialed in. And I'm pretty confident in saying that once I get it all dialed in and once I've done it, I'm pretty confident in saying that I think I'm going to get a little bit more results in getting a little bit more protein in the system. So we'll see. So we'll try that out. So I'm going to get a little warmed up, finish up the apple just to give me a little bit of sugar. And I'm going to get some workouts done. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. What up, guys? All right, so I just got done with the ab workout. You know, the only tip I really have for you guys today is, and I've mentioned this before, with any of the ab exercises, for me it makes a huge difference when, you know, I'm contracting the muscle and I just kind of release all the air out. That'll allow you to really, not really focus on flexing. It kind of already does it by itself by the release of the air. And so remember, when you're doing the contraction, try to flex and release that air, and it'll give you that extra burn if you do that every single rep. It's kind of the tip of the day. I mean, it's kind of the tip for every time you do any sort of ab workout. It'll get more it'll get more blood into the muscle, and it'll kind of get you way more of a pump and hopefully tear more of that muscle so you can kind of rebuild and make stronger and bigger. But that's it for today, guys. Tomorrow we've got my favorite, back and biceps. Should be a fun one. Hopefully I'm a little bit more recovered from my triceps and and my shoulders. But that's it for the day, guys. Have a good one. Any comments, likes, favorites, whatever, it's all below. So enjoy, guys, and have a good one.